What's up guys, John from Linkswell here, and today we're going to make ourselves an install video for a T-Style XL on our 19 and up Dodge Ram. That is right, we're going to install a 15.6 inch screen in this 2020 Dodge Ram quad cab. Let's get at it. Alright guys, like I said, we are about to install a 15 inch screen on this 2020 Dodge Ram quad cab. Now I will let you know this is one of the easiest ones for us to install in. Just in general, the dash comes apart super simple. There's no crazy things you got to do, no wires you got to run everywhere. It's actually very straightforward. So this video should be quick unless I talk too much, and if I do, I'm sorry. But let's talk about it real quick. So I want to give you a quick rundown what we're going to pull apart on the dash. Once we've got the dash pulled apart, I'll run over here to the seat real quick. I'll grab my phone, shoot a little video so you can see all the different harnesses. We'll talk about the plugs, what plugs into what, talk about the microphone, antennas, all of that good stuff. And then we will reassemble and plug it in, turn it on. I'll show you how to program the climate controls. So just note a couple things before you get going. There are a few pieces on this panel that we are going to remove to put onto ours. One of those is the air vents. The other one is the controls down here at the bottom, because this radio, or our XL radio, is different than our Gen 4, 5, and 6s. Our Gen 4, 5, and 6s all just replace this insert. So you would just pull this insert out. You would retain this outside piece with air vents. Well, in order for us to do a 15 inch screen, we had to create the entire bezel. What that means is this all has to come out, and some of these parts are going to come about. Now, before you ask about different color options, we have one color option that's black right now. I don't know that we'll come out with any other colors, but it's going to be black, and that's what it is. And I promise you it's going to look good. But before you ask in the comments, does it come in whatever color? It doesn't right now, just black, because honestly, truly, it is very hard to match factory dash colors, just an FYI. So we are going to do a real quick removal. So right up here on top is a rubber little tray. You're gonna pull that out real quick and easy. There'll be two screws shooting straight down here. Now, depending on the radio, some radios will come apart a little bit different. This one's got the 8 inch. The 8 inch screen is gonna stay attached to the bezel. I believe the 4 inch, some of the 4 inch, the screen will stay behind the bezel. So this bezel will come off and then you'll pull out that radio. So this one specifically, I'm pretty sure the screen is actually going to be attached to all of this. So our disassembly literally is going to be removing this rubber, taking out two screws, and then pulling. And here's the best part, guys. Dodge designed this dash to give you just this great handle. I don't know if you can see how nice my hand fits up here, so that I can just grab a hold of this thing and yank it. But do it carefully. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna grab the top here, we're gonna yank it, we'll pull this. This whole thing is clipped in. Once you've taken off these two screws, it's all clips. Two screws, all clips. Got it? Cool. Two screws, all clips. We'll pull this off. We're gonna unplug everything. We'll get everything unplugged, and then I said we'll talk about the harnesses, we'll talk about what to plug it in, where to run antennas, what to do with the microphone, and then we will snap it in, turn it on. You will be amazed, you will be wowed, it will be amazing, and I'll show you how to program it. So yes, how about we speed up that video as I take this apart, and then we'll talk harnesses. All right, just like that, we got our bezel off. So let me see if I can actually use this camera here in front of me. A couple things we're gonna take off. We are gonna take off our cigarette lighter here. This one here, you can see, I don't know if you can see in there, but hopefully you will when you're looking at it. There will be a couple little plastic tabs that you're gonna pull out so that the plastic piece lets go of the metal and you can push the metal through forward. And so you can kind of see there's little plastic keepers in there. I'm sorry, I can't do a better view of that, but you should be able to see it. You'll see two little tabs. You just kind of pull the tabs out carefully. You don't want to pull them all the way out, because if you break them, it won't hold the metal back anymore. So just be careful when you do that, but you're going to pull them out just enough so that you can push the metal out from the front of the thing, and then that will come apart. And then we've got our air vents here. So you can see there's some Torx holding the actual air vents. So you'll pull all the Torx off. So that you can pull the air vents and put them onto ours. As well, there'll be Torx holding the buttons down here at the bottom. You pull those Torx, you're gonna put that into our new bezel. And then of course, the white clips that are going all the way around the bezel, you're gonna remove these, snap them on to our bezel. So I'm actually going to do this outside the truck, so you're not going to get to see this part. Just assume I did it with such grace and poise, and you're going to be able to do it too. Pull off that cigarette lighter, pull off the air vents, pull off the switches, get those white clips. We're going to transfer all that stuff onto our new bezel, and then we'll talk harnesses, plugging things in, and get it all snapped in. Cool? Right on. I'll be right back. All right, real quick rundown on harnesses. I will do my best to not be too shaky here. Cool. So first one's going to be red USB and a white USB. These are where you're going to retain the factory USB and then give you 2 seconds. Now, if you happen to have two factory USBs plugged into the back of your radio, there is a second adapter here that you can use to plug into this white one. So it'll give you a male and then the adapters so that you can do that. So the red and white are USBs. Yellow is your RCA output and microphone input. Purple is your toss link. So this is going to be if you're doing a high-end DSP with a toss link connection. Auxiliary in on the gray. This is a DVR power output, so it's going to give you a constant, a ground, and an ignition output if you're going to run something small. And then our camera input, so this radio will come equipped ready for a reverse, a front, and a side camera. One side camera, not two side cameras, one side camera. So all the RCAs are there for that. We have our GPS antenna. This can be mounted inside the dash so long as it's not under metal. I will tell you, it will work better if it's outside the dash, but it should be able to mount. So like for us, when I get inside, I will show you. I'm going to go ahead and put it up above one of the air vents. This little speaker here is often for some vehicles. It's all CAN bus, and I cannot tell you which one. So please hear me say that. I can't tell you for sure which ones will need this. But if you have sensors and you don't have any audio, you're going to want to plug this in to the main harness. There'll be an output for it. This is the new rubber cover that replaces the one up on top, because our bezel is going to be a little bit different than that factory one on top. So here we have a new rubber thing to cover those two screws up top there. These two antennas here with the purple plugs, this is your 4G. That's right, 4G. It's been a long time coming, but we have on the back of our radio is a little black box that you slide open and you can put a SIM card in it, and now your radio will have internet all the time without Wi-Fi. So these guys here, like an antenna, always better high. You can mount them behind the dash. They will work behind the dash. You may get better reception if you put them up like on the windshield or something like that. Just so you know, if you feel like your reception's not great, it might be your antenna placement. Your Wi-Fi antenna, now hear me say this, you need that even if you're going to 4G, because your Wi-Fi antenna is how you're going to do wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. They need that antenna. So if that antenna's not in there, it's not going to work. And I'm going to say the same thing about the navigation antenna. Even if you're not putting in like iGo, this needs to be in there because Google Maps and all the other stuff will use that data. So make sure that's in there. Then we have our red CAN box. This is what's going to decode all of the fun stuff. So this will plug into our main power harness. This black box is our camera interface box. These new Dodges have a special LVDS signal, so we have to decode that signal, turn it into normal. So there will be on this main power harness will be a plug that plugs into that. You can see it looks like an antenna plug, which is actually a camera plug, and it'll be the red one that came off the back of your radio. So you want to make sure you plug in the red one into that box for your camera. You have our AM and FM antenna adapter, and then of course our main power harness. But let me show you this real quick. There should be 2 white females, 1 white male connector on here. This is for the speakers. So one of these will be tagged with amp, one of them will be tagged without amp. Dodge in all of its infinite wisdom, why I don't know, on the main harness here where they put their pins, if it's an amplified system, they actually delete the rear signals and then put the fronts where the rears go. So that means if you have an amplified system and you plug this in wrong, you are going to lose stuff like Bluetooth conversations and navigation directions, because they're going to be trying to play into a signal that's empty. Also, that means if you have the Alpine system, hear me say this, you will lose your ability to fade because there's only 2 signals. The amplifier does not get 4 signals, the amplifier gets 2 signals. So the factory radio actually faded internally in the amplifier, not the signal, but the output. So that's a big difference. So if you have Alpine, you're going to lose fade from the radio. I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do about that. We can, in the vehicle settings, sometimes adjust the fade on that side. I will show you that when we get it powered on. But that's the power harness. On the power harness, we're going to have our factory camera, RCAs, as well as if you've got the factory CD player, There'll be two RCAs, a red and a white marked CD. You'll plug those into the gray auxiliary plug, or if you've got the aux plug, you'll use the one that say aux, plug it into that aux plug, and then your factory parts were there. So we can retain your factory CD player if you have it, and we can retain your factory aux. We can't do both, one or the other, because we only have one aux input. Cool? Sweet. So that is all of our harnesses. I've got my radio bezel ready. I'm going to go grab it. I'm going to crawl back into the truck, and then we are going to plug this bad boy in and turn it on. Cool? Let's do it. All right, guys, we are in it. I'm going to grab my harnesses. We're going to do some plug-ins. But really quick, a lot of folks are asking about the SIM card. So hopefully you can see this in frame here. This little pigtail is what's coming off of the back of the radio. There's a little door, so you slide it, open it, and now there's this metal thing in here. So this you will pull down, like slide down, it'll flip open. It's not the most simple thing, but it is pretty easy. And then you'll be able to slide your set your SIM card in there, push the metal, slide the metal back up, it'll lock in, then close the door, and then bada bing, bada boom. So let me say this, Verizon, no problem. T-Mobile, no problem. You just got to go in there and say, hey, I have my own device, no IMEI. I just need a bring your own device SIM card. Because they're going to ask you for the IMEI. We are not set up in their system, so it's not going to work. So you cannot give them an IMEI off the radio. It's not going to work, okay? So go in there and say, I don't have the IMEI, just give me a SIM card. They should be able to do that for you. Now, if it's AT&T, I have to make a whole video for that, guys. So I will eventually link it to this video because I haven't made that video yet. AT&T is funky with some settings. You got to go into the Android settings on the radio. You got to change some things. There's like 3 possibilities of making an AT&T SIM card work. For whatever reason, they're just the most difficult. So if you have an option, Verizon or T-Mobile are not a problem. AT&T takes some work, but that's what that is. So there's your SIM card holder. Now you know that's how that works. Hopefully that helps anybody who's looking, but sweet. Cool. See all of our beautiful harnesses here? Let me plug this in. I'm going to run the microphone. I'm just going to install the microphone up on the A-pillar here, on the driver's side A-pillar. I'm going to run that down. I'm going to mount my antennas. I'm going to get all of that scenario situated, all of the plugs together, and then we're going to take our beautiful 15.6 inch screen. We're going to plug it in, snap it down, power it on, and we're going to talk about settings. Cool? Ready, set, go. All right, guys, so before I plug it all in and snap it in, I know I talked about harnesses on the seat over there, but let me real quick just kind of run it through with you in the vehicle. First one is going to be AM FM. So there's going to be 2 antennas at least, depending on your trim level. If it's yellow, that's Sirius XM. It's not going to work. Now, if you're putting in a Generation 5, I know this is an XLT install, but if you're putting in a Generation 5 and you have the V300, you should be able to use this antenna. You'll have to take off the plastic clip and all that, but that's for a different video. So do not use this for AM FM, guys. Hear me, AM FM is this big fat coax, most likely going to be the white plug. That's going to be for your AM and FM. Let me show you real quick here for the camera adapter. You can see I've got the red antenna looking plug plugged in. The pink loop is cut, which means we're going to use the AHD output. So make sure the reverse output from this module, you're using AHD. Plug that into the one that says factory camera. And so that's going to be our factory camera input. You can see I installed the speaker, just tucked it back here for it, plugged that in. This is a non-amplified system, so I have the white plug plugged in there. We have our white cam box plugged in. And just a couple things to note on here as well. So we have this black plug here. This is going to be from the factory climate controls. So the plug that came off of the black bezel that has the factory climate controls, you're going to plug make sure that gets plugged in. That's going to be right here. And then we are going to make sure as well that we see this plug here, this white one. it says to radio hazard light. So you want to make sure this is going to plug into the back of the radio, a little different off to the side, not right in with the rest of the plugs. But that's that there. I got auxiliary because I have an aux port, not a CD player. So I have my RCAs plugged in there. My nav antenna is right there. My Wi-Fi antenna is over here. I know it's kind of clustery because I was trying to not tie up wires until I showed them to you. Got my microphone plugged in here. But yeah, so let me kind of clean this up a little bit. I'm gonna plug the radio in, I'm gonna snap it in, and then we're gonna talk about power up, how to set the AC, and all of that stuff, and then we'll be done, guys. So it's kind of been a little longer than I expected, but that's cool. Let me mount this thing and we'll talk in a minute. Boom, there you go, guys. We are installed. Man, you can't tell me that ain't a good looking radio. I'm sorry, that's some good looking stuff right there. Anyway, so now that it's in, now that it's powered on, now we got everything plugged in, now we got to tell the radio what kind of truck it's in. Were you a truck with climate, dual climate, single climate, seat heaters, all that stuff. So you're going to pull and get your factory climate control. So let me show you real quick on ours. So this one has an auto button, which means we're automatically going to be set up to RAM high. So we'll go through that process. But you can see we have seat heaters as well as a steering wheel heater icon. So we want to make sure we turn those on as well. So let's go through that real quick. Super easy to do. You're going to go with it on, open up settings, and then it's going to go into the radio settings. You're going to go to system. From system, you are going to select settings guide. From settings guide, you're going to go car model AC. It's going to kick you to this page, and you're just going to see where it says Dodge Ram mid. We're not a mid. We are Dodge Ram high. We're going to say 2019 and up because we're a newer Ram. We're going to hit OK. Radio is going to reboot. It's going to come back, and it's going to have everything we need. I'm going to fast forward the boot, and then we'll talk about steering wheel controls and, or not steering wheel controls, steering wheel heater and seat heater in just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, we're back up. Settings, system again, settings guide, and then you see it says seat and wheel. We're going to turn on steering wheel. We're going to turn on heated seats. We're going to back out of that. See, they're on. Go ahead and go down. And then anything else that you might need to save in here, like if you want to turn off dynamic guidelines, if your door is showing opposite, then you'll hit right-hand drive, stuff like that. Once you've kind of adjusted what you want to, you're going to hit save and reboot, and it's going to reboot again. That's it, guys. That's how simple it is to do this install. Hopefully I'll be able to crop a lot of this together. I was kind of crammed up in here and it was a little harder to work, but hopefully it's short enough, quick enough, helps you make it easy install. Top screws, pull the panel, swap those pieces over onto ours, plug everything in, make it look pretty, make sure you got the right AM FM antenna, make sure you got your nav antenna and all your other antennas, Wi-Fi antennas and all that stuff where it needs to be. Put those white clips on the back of that radio, plug it all in, snap it down, and now this is what you're looking at. Hope that was helpful. Hope the install was good for you. Keep an eye out on our channel. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click that button, and we'll see you next time.